Hey, my name is Michael Zarek.
I'm Amanda.
And we're here at Borage in Speedway, not Indianapolis. And we sat down with the owners of this restaurant, Zoe and Josh, to talk about their food, their cafe, the stories behind their journey as chefs and business owners. And we had a wonderful time.
Yeah, it was.
And
the food was good.
The food was amazing.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed getting to learn more about their story. And we did something today what the man behind the camera calls commensality. And commensality means sitting down with others, enjoying a meal together and things like that. But I also want to give a special thank you to Chris Whonsetler behind the camera. He helped us out with production, so we're going to have a beautiful new production here. Chris runs a podcast here locally called Okayest Cook, but we really hope you enjoy our conversation with Zoe and Josh of Borage today. Come check them out here in Speedway.
Yeah, and if you have recommendations of other restaurants, we would love to keep doing this. If you have recommendations of other local Indianapolis restaurants, then tell us who we should talk to.
We want to hear it.
Let's go eat Borage.
These
Are
these croutons old croissants?
Some of them is croissant bread, yeah.
Some of it's croissant, some of it's milk bread, and some of it's...
I guess we'll,
Just like
sorry,
all
I'm
of our
jumping the
bread
gun.
scraps.
I mean, it's gonna hunt me down.
Yeah, so like all the bread we're using is from the bakery, and so...
Man, I'm about to hope about it though.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
Okay, my first question.
Hi.
Who are you and where are we?
I am Zoe Taylor, and we are at Borage in Speedway.
And my name is Josh Kline, staying alongside Zoe, my life and business partner.
Okay. Now, I've been talking about the salad. I tell everybody about the salad. So I just want to first start at the salad. So this is the Caesar salad. I usually add grilled chicken to it. But please tell me why this is so delicious. And then now tell me there's a sweet story attached to it. So I want to start at the salad.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a Zoe family recipe, so I'll let her lead that.
Yeah, that one, my dad's easy go-to meal was making a Caesar salad every night. So I ate them a lot growing up, and it's delicious because there's so much garlic and anchovies
Yeah.
in it. That's why it's so good. And yeah, I don't know, it's just a really pungent dressing. And we have the bucarones on top, which are those really nice, fleshy anchovies, and it's just delicious. Yeah, my dad was a really great cook, and I don't know, it just reminds us of him, and it's a good way to carry on his go-to thing to cook.
And you made it for him.
Yes,
Like on one
and
of
I
the
made
first
it
dates.
the first time I cooked for you, I think.
Probably, yeah.
I grilled a steak and made a Caesar salad and won him over. And then the next one was the chicken. I did the chicken over the potatoes.
Does the cooking only go one way?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, we do most of our cooking here professionally, and then at home it's what can we patch together?
Yeah.
I think that's really common.
Yeah. Very. Yeah.
But I love the Caesar salad.
It's
I
so
think.
good.
And then
Thank you for loving it and giving it its light.
yeah, do a lot of people order Caesar salads?
I feel like people do.
Do I
Yeah,
influence the
you know,
Caesar salad trend?
It's on our cafe menu, which is available 100% of the time we're open, whether that's 8 a.m. or 9 p.m. And so it's just a comforting staple that I feel like a lot of people it can be their introduction to us. And I just love it because we're utilizing some really great ingredients. The egg yolks that form the basis of the dressing that are coming straight from Becker Farms, and it's the best part of the egg, the yolk itself. And then we also, because Zoe and her team are baking all of our bread in-house, we're slicing our bread for all of our sandwiches here. We don't have a machine or anything. So there's always some leftover scraps to each loaf of bread. And so we reserve all of those. So our croutons are always a combination of brioche, Japanese milk bread, and croissant bread. And we'll just toss those with some chopped up herbs and some garlic oil and let those get nice and crusty. And yeah, it's just a beautiful dish.
It's just the visual impact of this salad was I was looking at it and there was I was like, oh, that's a croissant. And then
Yes.
there's like, and then you mentioned that there's other stuff in it that's like starts to pop out at you. It's like there's a lot
Mhm.
of different variation in that.
I think a pro move, I see a lot of people order it with like, they'll get a side roasty and then get a Caesar salad or like get the chicken with it. And it's like, that's like such a good filling.
I do feel like I
meal.
have to have like, if I order a salad, I feel like I have to have some sort of like potato.
I know,
So,
I need a fried
yeah.
potato with
Yeah,
it. Like,
yes.
I'm like, I'm doing a salad, I get my fried potato. It's
Yeah.
fast.
Okay, so I definitely jumped the gun because I really wanted to talk about the salad, but can you explain what Borage is? Like, there is a bakery, there's a market, there's a restaurant, it's a community spot. So yeah, can you explain it all the aspects of Borage?
I think we're still trying to figure out how to explain all of it. Yeah, it's a large building. I mean, we're like 7,200 square feet, which is definitely larger than the average independent restaurant.
Yes.
But what's beautiful about that is that we have so many different ways for people to experience us. So we have like tons of regulars who will come into the market and bakery, which is also a coffee shop. And we're getting like all of our beans from local roasters. And then we also have
Helm and
this.
Blue Mind.
I was gonna say I saw lots of Blue Mind up
Yeah.
there.
And then Helm, they're making a custom espresso blend just for us. That's absolutely gorgeous. So there's the cafe side as well, which is like what we call the restaurant. Sort of like diner meets bistro kind of vibe. It's like very casual, but also like intimate and inviting and welcoming. And so we serve everything from like breakfast all day or Brinner have you. We've got a great lunch vibe. There's some dinner items that are on our cafe menu, but then we also do a really great dinner service Thursday, Friday, Saturday as well from 5 to 9.
Yes, and you were telling me earlier what you were prepping for your special burger. Can you tell me your burger right now?
Yeah, right. So I always run a double brisket smash burger. It's just a super classic burger, but we are grinding the brisket fresh like basically every single day.
It makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, it makes such a difference for the flavor of the beef itself. Like it's just like so upfront. There's no like old age or extra liquid incorporated into it. And so my burger of the month is a French dip inspired burger.
I haven't tried it yet, but I want it so bad.
It was like I made the first test one and tried it, and I was like, oh, we're going to run this for more than a month. This is a really good one. So it's an 8-ounce brisket patty. I cooked to about medium. I crust the patty in like a 4 peppercorn mix. And then we caramelize some onions and mushrooms, top it with some Swiss as well. And then it gets served alongside some horseradish cream and a mushroom red wine au jus.
And that's only for dinner.
Just for dinner. Yeah, just
I'm gonna have to
3
go for
nights a
dinner.
I know. Yeah, and the mushrooms are from grounded mushrooms, which are they the chestnut? So they're, like,
right now it's
so-
chestnut. We just sort of get like a supplementary mushroom from them. So we always have their lion's mane mushrooms on the menu. So people can like turn our gyro into either a vegetarian or a vegan dish, or they can top a
get it,
salad
on the
with the
salad.
mushrooms, or basically just use that as like, instead of a chicken, do you want mushrooms on it?
We have people get the all day plate and they'll do like the mushroom as they'll get it vegan with our tofu eggs and like the mushroom as their like sausage, and then they have like a vegan kind of like breakfast diner plate too. So there's lots of different ways to customize it.
Yeah, and so the lion's mane we get every single week. We get anywhere from like 20 to 30 pounds, or depending on how
That's a
busy
good
we are.
mushroom too.
They're incredible.
They're so
and
good.
what we do is we like press them really hard as they're cooking. And so all that fibrous like material sort of condenses down, and it eats stunningly like a New York strip steak or ribeye.
Whoa.
Like the texture on it, you would have no idea that you're eating a mushroom from the texture alone. The flavor obviously is mushroom forward,
Yeah.
but they're great. So we always get an order from him every week, and then I'll get like a supplementary mushroom, whether it's chestnut or blue oyster or something else. And I like to just always have those on hand for a dinner special, or to make it take and bake for the market, or Zoe uses in pot pies. They're just always wonderful to have around. And then we also like save all of the stems from our mushrooms and make this incredible like vegetable stock with all of our trimmings and everything. And that
It's like
forms
my
the basis
favorite
of like
smell
so
here, I
many
think,
different
is that mushroom
vegetarian
stock.
dishes. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why. It's just so.
Yeah, we just save like all the herbs and your
Well, they put
traditional.
miso in it too.
Yeah, the miso gives it this like super umami factor along with the mushroom.
It smells so good when they
It's-
like roast it on
yeah.
high heat, though. Oh my gosh.
So you talked about the restaurant, the bakery, well, you didn't really talk that much about the bakery. So
Yeah.
tell me what pastries that you have. And then you also mentioned like the stuff that you have in the market. And I recently bought the take and bake, turkey Manhattan.
Yes, yeah.
And then you were right. Those mashed potatoes, they
Were
were
so
very,
good.
are you mashed
Josh
potato?
made the mashed
They-
potatoes.
The mashed potatoes were very good. And I loved how it was like it wasn't, because Manhattans are usually like, in my memory, they're like white bread. But then this was like a bread, like a savory bread pudding. And that was delicious. And
I
then,
don't remember what that was.
Yeah, it was like a roasted garlic and herb bread pudding. So again, like we just always have like all these bread scraps, and it's like
We make
there-
unlimited bread
there's
pudding.
like so much effort that goes into making a bread that like we want to utilize all that time and effort in every single way possible. So we're like literally constantly making sweet and savory bread pudding.
I love savory bread
puddings,
pudding.
all of it.
But the mashed potatoes, you were right. You said that you loved your mashed potatoes, and they were very luscious, even as like frozen and then like baked. It was really, really good.
Cream does. A lot of cream goes a long way.
Yeah, cream and butter,
And
just
butter.
so much.
So much of it.
But can you talk about the bakery
the
side?
bakery, I don't know. It's nice being kind of like an open concept, like the kitchen. We're kind of able to like help see the market and see what needs restocked. And like, I don't know, I just think working in a bakery is super romantic and cool. And I love it. And I feel like it's fun for people to see. It's like people don't really get to see the inside of bakeries very often, or like, I don't know, see how a cookie is being made or like it being scooped or some, I don't know. It's just, I wanted it to be visible.
You're the second baker to ever explain baking, like being a baker and a bakery, as romantic. And I never thought of that until like you think about like getting up like super early in the morning and it's just like the street lights are on and you're awake before the rest of the world.
Oh, I loved it. And like I like working in Amelia's when it would be snowing and they had those like big old windows, and I don't know, you would just be it's very romantic, and I love it. I feel like waking up a building every day, or like waking up something, like starting something, is really fun. And I think like being at Milktooth, I did that like every day for 6 days a week. And it's just like a part of me now. Like our kids were born at 6:30 in the morning. Like it's like
and their body clocks will not adjust.
They're up and ready. But yeah, and we just we provide make pastries, croissants, mostly like croissant-based things. But we also have a lot of vegan and gluten-free options, and that's because I work with my two head bakers are both vegan and gluten-free, so they're able to like have a lot of creative freedom and make what they're passionate and want to eat. And I think like, I don't know, letting people make what they want to make is always going to be like the best food typically. So that kind of their interest shaped kind of like how we decided what to put on the menu.
Can I ask because you mentioned both Amelia's and Milktooth.
Yeah.
Can I ask where was your starting point like in this industry, and when did you like figure out like this is what I want to do as my career, and then for both of you, and then when did they like come together to create, like when was Borage like born as an idea? So yeah, if you could tell both of your stories of like how you kind of got into this industry and like how your passions got started, and then when they overlapped with each other.
Well, my first industry job was Burger King. I was BK crew member at the Indiana Union in the late 2000s. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Is it still there? I don't know. I
it's
haven't
there.
been there for a long time.
I haven't been to Bloomington in like a while, but
Yeah.
it was there last time I remember.
It was a dream job for a college student because we would just like accidentally make way too much about 30 minutes before we're gonna close. And it's like, well, I guess we're gonna have to take 7 Whoppers home. And then after that, I worked at Sky's Brew House for a long time, also while at B-Town. Graduate, I did a community organizing and political organizing job out of school and got burnt out on that pretty quickly and just moved to Chicago because I had friends there, got a job at a restaurant down the street because I needed to have a job,
Yeah.
and it was a skill set I had, and just fell in love with it. I mean, I was really fortunate to, even though it was like a pretty simple sandwich and burger shop, the chef there had been a Michelin-starred sous chef before, and so he brought like all this incredible technique and passion that you might not see at like a neighborhood sandwich shop. And he saw something in me and just like started egging me on of like, okay, why don't you try this? Why don't you go buy your first real knife? Why don't you work with these ingredients? And I just love it. It reminded me of like playing sports, really, where there's like this adrenaline and there's a sense of teamwork, and when everything is like working, it's the best feeling in the
It
world.
really is. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I was fortunate to like continue working with other great chefs in Chicago before I moved here in 2014 and started working at Milktooth in early 2015. Became sous chef after just a few weeks there. And there just happened to be this babe running the the bakery program over there, and we hit it off pretty quickly for our like love and passion of food and what we were doing, and we had like a really wonderful friendship for a solid year before.
I friend zoned him really hard in the
Yeah.
beginning. I was like, we work together.
Yeah.
Well, I was in like a wild debaucherous phase of my life, so he had a boyfriend, and so like it wasn't the right time to start something, but we built like a really wonderful foundation that I think we still rely on day in and day out.
That's important for any relationship.
Truly, yeah. And I mean, we were managing the restaurant, the Milktooth, together, and it was like, yeah, I don't know, just sharing our stress in that way too, like as friends first, and like learning how to communicate. And
But also having like unlimited creativity potential, where like my day in process was to go in the walk-in, write down like every single ingredient that I could potentially use, and then I would go to Zoe's house, we'd like open a bottle of wine and smoke a cigarette or 5 or 6, and then
Still the
just,
same
like,
brand?
yeah.
yes,
Okay.
Well, I was a Parliament Light
Yeah, you
person
were
at that time, but switched over since then. And we would just come up with the next day's specials and like have a game plan, and that's how we actually named one of our cats. Was we ran a bao special, like a Chinese steam bun, and we ended up adopting this cat who reminded us of a Chinese steam bun, so her name was Bao, B-A-O.
Yeah.
R.I.P. She just passed, but she lived a long, beautiful life.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I kind of similarly, like, I feel like we have in common that people like took chances on us and like supported us early. And, but I went to school for, I did not go to, neither of us went to culinary school. I have a English literature and a French degree. And then I worked in college at a coffee shop that was like a mom and pop run small business. And Alex and Linda Galt, shout out Kavarna. And they're still great. Like, and they just supported me. Like they let me bake things and try things out there. And so I kind of like baked professionally there for the first time. And then I moved to Indy and was going to go and try to get my master's and like work in library science. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know. And I went and applied at Bluebeard because I saw they were hiring an assistant pastry chef, and I got that job. And then, yeah, worked with Abby, and then decided I kind of wanted to go and learn more about bread. So worked with Charlie at Amelia's and helped like do pastries like for Amelia's a million years ago, and then was asked to like be the opening pastry chef at Milktooth in 2014. And yeah, that was kind of like, once I got the job at Blueberry, I was like, okay, I think I'm just a kitchen rat, like for life. I don't know, it was just so fun. And I don't know, yeah, it's just like a sense of like starting something new every day feels so exciting. And like, It's just so satisfying to like make people feel good with food. It's but and then yeah, met Josh at Milktooth, and I think like Borage as an idea was kind of born out of the pandemic, wouldn't you say?
Well, we had talked about opening a spot for a while, even while we were at Milktooth, and so we had a foundation of like what we wanted to do. Like actually, some of the very same cafe menus were on like the very first menu that we like made for a prospective restaurant idea.
Yeah.
And then yeah, as we progressed, and then the pandemic hit, that really shaped a lot of what we did here, because we didn't want to be so reliant on just like a traditional restaurant setup, which is why we have the market and bakery, where like it really came in handy a few weeks ago when Speedway was under water boil advisory, and that like crippled the restaurant setting. I mean, what can you do without running water in a restaurant? But we were able to sort of make do with boiling enough water and bringing in other fresh water that like we were able to open the market and
sustain payroll and like sustain people's like livelihoods, even though like, yeah, I don't know. It was just the pandemic shaped a lot of it, and like seeing how well we could do like grab and go things and take and bake meals, and sorry, I keep touching my microphone, and and just everything like that, and like, and it's such a nice thing to have, because like not everybody, I want people to enjoy like a really nice restaurant meal in the comfort of their own home, because I'm a homebody, like we're both homebodies. We want to be like home with our kids and like feel like you're eating really good prepared food. I don't know. So that was a big part of it.
And then it's just like sort of along with the idea of how her bakery is totally glassed in and you can see every single thing. My kitchen is a totally open kitchen, and it's just like taking the mystery out of how food is made is something that's really important to us, because there is so much time and effort and love and not love. Sometimes it's just pure like hatred and getting the job done, but there's so much that goes into it, and we wanted to like make sure that people started learning about that. But then also like we are able to source from some really wonderful farms or other partners in the state, and we didn't want to like gatekeep those ingredients just for like the bakery or just for the restaurant. It's like all the incredible meat that we purchase, we're also retailing in the market setting. And so just sort of giving people an avenue of like, I can go get a really great lamb chop, or I can go get a pork tenderloin. I can go to the produce section and grab the exact same strawberries from Garwood Orchard, or spicy peppers from Heirloom Acres. It's like everything that we're using, we're also selling. And so just sort of making that quality local food available on a more consistent basis, other than like just a farmer's market or something,
I love it.
was a huge part of it as well.
And then I feel like Wildwood was kind of like that.
Oh, that was a
But then-
huge inspiration.
Yeah. And now like I feel like that's like you guys now is like coming, like you can get all those things. And I love that you thought of that. When when did you both decide like talked about like the inspiration, but when was it like, let's be owners of a spot together? Like, do you remember like that conversation? And what were the steps of opening the place? Because I know that opening a business is very, very hard, and that most people say what do they say? By the third year is when you will be like turning a profit.
Yeah. Or
And-
even it was, I think that the idea of us having a place and being owners was always there, but we had no idea how to go about doing that. And it was really presented to us. Like we were very lucky in that regard. Like it was like we had an investor come to us and was like, hey, I will fund whatever you want to open. It just has to be here.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
talk about like how you got to Speedway. So I
Yeah,
didn't know
and
that was like the deciding factor.
That was it. Yeah. And we were like, okay, like this is it. Like it truly could be anything. And, you know, like ensuring that we would have full creative control. It would be our food. It would be our drink. Like it would be like all us. Like once we made sure that was going to happen, it was kind of like, okay, like we're going to do it.
Yeah,
In Speedway.
so his offices had been across the street. It's an old Chase Bank, and then he had his company's offices there for a little while. So he like called us over there, and he's like, "Look across the street. There's these two decrepit buildings in a totally dilapidated parking lot. I want to invest in you guys to make something." He grew up in Speedway, and he's really passionate about the community and wanted to present a different option than what the community already had. And so we came up with the business plan and sort of jumped off.
Yeah.
It took a few years from the idea of opening and us agreeing with him before we were finally able to open. There were so many different roadblocks, and it was also like
There's so many like you feel like everything's happening at once and then dead standstill because, you know, construction is at a halt or
they found storage tanks below
Yeah.
the ground from an old gas station that had been at this site at one point. So then it's like biological, environmental testing. Everything's okay in terms of toxicity, but now we have to dig out all these storage tanks and then backfill them, and
it
then
was crazy.
the permitting and approval. And yeah, I mean, it took like 2.5 years of construction before we were finally able to open.
How has Speedway, the thing that I know about people in Speedway is they will let you know that they're from Speedway and that they love Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has the like community, like have they accepted you?
I think so. I mean, there's always going to be people that
Yeah.
don't want to come somewhere new. But no, the community of Speedway has been amazing. I feel like we have a lot of great regulars that like we see walk to us, and shout out to Echo, my favorite dog that comes to visit and gets bacon.
Do they come up to the walk-up window?
Yeah.
I should bring pumpkin.
I know. We were gonna start doing pup cups, and I was like, I think the dogs just want bacon.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Would you like a bacon cup?
But yeah, no, Speedway's been incredible. I feel like we've met so many wonderful people like that offered to like let us. They have like an ice skating rink in their yard, and like offered to let our kids come and skate on it, and just like I think it's been great.
Yeah, we even like employ 3 Speedway high schoolers. All are star athletes for the high school. Shout out. But like one of them, their mom was actually almost one of the midwives who gave birth for our younger son Rocco.
Yeah.
When Zoe went into labor, and so we already knew her, and yeah, I mean we're getting to know people and like just learning about their lives as they learn about ours, and I think that we're becoming more accepted with every single day. And we also are like a safe space for people on the west side and in Speedway that may not have had one before. And so we receive tons of great support.
I love that you brought that up because that was like one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I feel like there are like people that kind of like push back on those safe spaces. And I just appreciate that you are in a place that probably like not even just like a neighborhood sometimes, but like as a city in general, that you are like pushing the boundaries and that you are the ones that are like, no, we are a safe place that you can come. And then you have people on your staff that they can like look to and be like, that looks like me. So I just appreciate that. So thank you. I love the name Borage, and you guys kind of correlate it to like how can you talk about like how it's not a native plant, but like how you're not native to Borage or not native to Speedway?
We had no idea what we were gonna name this for like a while. It was kind of like big empty question mark. Like I don't know, nothing. And then, I don't know, I think I rolled over in bed one day and like looked at my arm because I've had this tattoo for a long time and it has borage flowers on it. And I was like, what about borage? Like, and we just started kind of thinking about its significance, and like it just happened to be like the first thing I grew from seed in our home garden, like at home. And I decorated a lot with it, like it's edible, and I just always loved it. And it is, like, doing more research on it, it's kind of in the like thyme and oregano, like Mediterranean family, so it's not native to the United States. And we were just kind of thinking about like, yeah, what we're two people coming into Speedway that are not from Speedway, and knowing that it's people are very proud to be from here, and like it's we just kind of didn't want to scare anyone and just be like, hey, like we know we're strangers here, and more importantly, like we know we're, you know, two white business owners, and we want to be aware of that and move forward with like empathy and protection, obviously, for everyone. And
Yeah, and it's like a super beneficial plant for even like the native pollinators. Like one plant can produce hundreds and
makes
hundreds
so
of
much
blooms
nectar.
over the course of the growing season. And so like those native bees or whatever it may be is able to just go back there over and over and over again. And so like in that same vein, we wanted to be a place that people feel like they can come back and be nourished time and time again.
I love that.
yeah.
You, the weather right now when we are recording this is not, things are not in bloom,
No.
but
We'll get
you,
there.
can you tell me about your decision on doing all of the native plants that you have outside?
Yeah.
And you had somebody local
Yes.
that did it.
Yeah.
We did.
Well, we planted them, but
Yeah.
but Gentry Go of Huddleston Farmstead grew all of the starters. But yeah, we planted. Well, first of all, we saw like how big this place was, and we were like, "What all is going to be out there?" And they were like, "Grass," and we were like,
No.
"So that's going to get mowed like every week, and we're just going to have to hear that." And obviously, yeah, we were just like, "So if we did this ourselves, could we just put native plants in?" And they were like, "Sure." But the hard part was, like we mentioned, with the like backfilling and the removing the tanks, like so much of it was just like rocky soil. We broke, how many shovels did we break?
We not just shovels. We broke like 4 lifetime warranty trench spades.
Yeah,
Ooh.
like
Did they
it
give you, like, an
was
award?
it was like the
Home
most
Depot started to know us. Lowe's and
Yeah.
Home Depot were.
no, we don't shop at Home. We didn't go to Home Depot. We only go to Lowe's. But cut that out. Cut it out. But no, but I was just like, Gentry, like, I just want it to be as Indiana, like, and as many colors as I can get out there. And so we've got swamp milkweed, we've got aster, we've got like giant compass plant, we've got a bunch of amazing things that look so beautiful all year round.
It ended up being about 2,000 baby plants that we put in the ground, one by one dig at a time.
And then we would just start seeing like worms, like, and like life, and we were like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this rocky.
Like a monarch came one day and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, there's a butterfly
happening.
here for the first time in probably
I remember
decades.
parking here and like standing outside with my son, and we would just like look, and there would be like little tiny birds just like flying around and like noticing them. And then I remember you guys posted a video one time of like the night cameras of
Oh,
like a
yeah.
fox like going through.
We got a fox, we've got a possum, we've got a raccoon now.
I was gonna say, can you tell me? I feel like you're making friends with crows.
I'm trying to.
Okay, I was gonna ask how that's
I
going.
put peanuts out, and
I did point those out to Finley last time I was here. I was like, I'm pretty sure she's becoming friends with some
Yes.
crows.
And I feed mostly the squirrels, but the crows do fly over. So they live in the giant cedar trees by St. Chris across the street.
Okay.
So they come here, and I see them, and they've been in our parking lot a few times, but they're not like frequent visitors yet. But I will bring them here. I'm obsessed with them.
We also did like all of our planting in the midst of like an incredible drought.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
so like we were getting all these baby plants in to like just
Oh my God.
the worst dirt that
stressed.
they could possibly be
Go
planted
into.
in.
But
And we're just like, how are we going to make sure that these plants live?
yeah.
And we honestly thought that like we were going to get 30% or 40% living, and like that was going to be successful.
Yeah.
And then so my parents lived just a few minutes away, so we would take like dozens of Cambros, which are like restaurant storage containers, to their house and just like fill them up with their hose, bring them back, and then literally water the plants one by one, like every other day for months on end.
I know.
But then we like start to see everything like actually growing, and like there were a few blooms that first summer, and we didn't really know what to expect the following spring. But then all of a sudden, like everything is turning green.
Came back. Like everything survived. It was crazy.
I'm very excited to see like what it looks like this year.
The thing about native plants is like they're resilient, and you can put them in the shittiest, can we curse, soil like ever, and they're just like, that's what they do. They bring the life, you know. Like they were like, okay, I got this. There used to be, this could have been a contaminated site at one point. I can clean this up.
Good job, plants.
Good job, plants.
Good job, nature. Yeah. So I love that you talked about all the plants that are out there and like how thoughtful you were with that. When I explain Borage to other people, I explain it as you guys are so thoughtful. So like when you talk about the market and you're like, how we want different ways that people can come experience us, or like if you love these croutons, you can get them in the market. And so just everything in Borage to me is so thoughtful. Like you just like sat down and you like looked at a wall and you're like, what could I do to like give to others? And so you can like see that throughout like your whole entire restaurant, like even going into the bathrooms. And I talk about the mop closet because I love the mop closet, but also, tell me about your decisions on your mop closet. But also I want to know, you have so many like knickknacks and things that you've collected over the years. I would love to know like your favorite pieces, both of you out there. I'm sure you probably have more favorite pieces. Did you have any?
My favorite piece is super easy.
Okay.
On the wall closest to the beverage area, there are a bunch of framed portraits of vegetables and fruits, and most of those were hanging in my grandparents' kitchen in Kentland, Indiana.
I would love that, yeah.
And every time we would go to visit my grandparents, we'd sit around the table and eat and play cards or whatever. And basically every single day it'd be like, okay, what's your favorite picture up there? And sorry, I'm trying not to cry about it, but yeah, it's the lowest wall after my grandma, and I love it so much.
Yeah. Well, now that I know that story, I also love that wall. Can I know what grandma's name was?
Lois. Yep.
Yeah.
Lois Norris in Kentland, Indiana. And so she died of a stroke a few years back, and I asked my family members, could I take all of these? Like I want to hang them in a restaurant open one day.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. It's so beautiful. I love that. Thank you.
I see people stop and take pictures of them all the time. It's really sweet. And we don't have anything like written on it, but I think they're just like really striking all together. Like,
they're beautiful.
They're so pretty. And I love the way that like we hung them, and it's for Lois. But
I feel like you should add that for Lois.
we should.
Yeah.
That would be
We
sweet.
do need to like get a calligraphy of like the Lois wall or something.
I'll call him like.
But then most of the other stuff, like we were like going on auction and estate sales like every single day.
Yeah, since the restaurant took so long to come to life,
You had time.
and the pandemic taught me like, I went on Christie's, shout out Christie's, liquidator. It's like, they're amazing.
Are they only for restaurants? Like
No,
closing
it's just that they're like estate liquidators. So
Okay.
like they go through and you can browse their catalog online. So I would just like bid on art, antiques, like anything. I was like, oh, I don't know, that would look good. and then I would drive and like pick it up the next day. And so I just started amassing things. Our house looked crazy for a while, like, because it just all was in our house. And then I was finally like, babe, it was when I got the orange chaise lounge that's in the market. I was like, we got to get a storage unit. This is kidding. Shout out Shannon Moody from Moody Interiors, because that was one of her impeccable finds.
That's a good spot. I saw one of your team members.
Yeah,
taking a break there.
when people have to do doubles, that's the nap spot. I got it originally because it was going to be like in the employee area as like a just a break spot, but it didn't fit back there. So
But it's still a break spot for them.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's probably subconsciously brought that up. It's probably one of my favorites. I just feel like it anchors like that market. Everything in the market is great. I love the lowest wall. What else? I don't know.
Do you guys call it the lowest wall?
Yeah.
I love that.
I think there's just like little things. Like there's a cup in the server station that was a cup that I grew up with in my home in my childhood, and now it like has the pins. The server's using it, and like I see it all the time, and I'm like, oh, I remember you. And I don't know, just things like that like are, I think, I don't know, my favorite part about this place. It'll surprise you.
Yeah, and most of the stuff we don't have like a sentimental connection with because we did get it from the site or something, but seeing the way that people interact with it is so special. We had a guy, he's probably 80 years old, a couple months ago, and he came and ate here, and then he asked to speak to a manager. I'm just like, oh crap, what did we do wrong today? And he's like, hey, I saw that there's this like little plate that's on the bookshelf in front of the kitchen, and it reminds me of something that my wife used to have.
That's really sweet.
And it's our anniversary next week. It's our 55th anniversary or something. Like, can I buy it from you? And I call Zoe and explain it. She's like, just give it to him.
I was like, yeah. Like, I don't even know what plate you're talking about.
And so like families can come in and keep their kids entertained because there's so much to look at and walk around and see. But then like a person can come and feel like they're in like a home, even though it's not a home, and just get that sense of comfort that not all restaurants have.
Having a place, I think like working at Milktooth kind of shaped to like how we thought about, and then we had kids and we were like, let's make some place that's like, it's just easier to take kids to, you know, like, I don't know. It just was, Milktooth was like an intimidating kind of like place to bring children, and I don't know, we were just like, how can we make it more family friendly? And like having all the space in the market, having an area where like kids can off gas and like play is like huge, I think, to like enjoying yourself with your children out. So yeah, we got lucky in that like the space like really allowed for that. But yeah, like having step stools in all the bathrooms, so you don't have to lift your child up to wash their hands, like just little things like you're like, okay, like having changing. Josh was very adamant about having all changing tables in every single bathroom because he was like, there's never any changing tables in the men's bathroom.
There's so many men's bathrooms in public spaces that don't
it's crazy.
have changing tables.
It's like, oh, it's just the women's labor. It's not for, can I drink this?
Yes, of course.
There's so many like things that Amanda has brought up to me that you were even mentioning in this moment that's like a lived experience that you have had that you've carried over into the restaurant in terms of like, well, you have children and you've noticed that I can't change the diapers in the men's restroom. So I'm going to do that for myself. And then Amanda is obsessed with the broom closet or the mop closet.
We haven't
talking about like working in restaurants in the lowest positions and like wanting a better mop closet for your...
Well, as owners, we still mop frequently, and like I think you should...
I actually don't. That's like...
Oh, okay, good for you.
I don't get a lot here, but one of the things is... Oh God, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
One of the things is that I don't want to mop, and so I do.
Well, that's good.
I
He
do
literally
pass
does
that to someone
everything.
else.
I would happily like if I were on staff, I'd be like, I'll sweep and mop. Like that was my job because I knew
I
exactly.
get
what
kind
to
of OCD about mopping.
do. Yeah.
There's
Same.
a
And I'm
way
like,
to
let me
do
just
it.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
you go chop all those onions. I will mop.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you find people that work with you.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that you know so many details because there was so much intentionality with like every single little feature. Like even the things that look cool, there are these like wooden baffles in the dining room and they like look beautiful and they're great decoration, but they also make it so that we can be a fully busy restaurant and like it's not that loud. Like the sound does not just echo around and create this gulf of sound in your ears. You can like be really comfortable and like speak at just a normal tone to somebody across from you no matter how busy we are.
We found out we were very sensitive to sound after having children also.
They
were like, oh. Yeah. Yeah, that was really that was really important.
But I just appreciate like they're just so thoughtful. Like even if you don't like have connections to like that painting over there, like you still like chose it and you're like, this goes together. You hung it on the wall. And like how you're saying, like, we have this space, like other people, they could be like, we could put more stuff here to sell. But instead you're like, let me put this space for a child. Like the last time that I was here, I was like, oh, Finley's like, you hear him like squeaking that, like you have like a squeaky cake.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, he's over there. And you're like,
yeah.
that's what I want him over there for. Like just enjoying his time while I'm shopping. So
I know. I think it's really nice for kids when they can feel an independence in a store, like a place with their, and like separate from their parent a little bit. And I love seeing, like adults be able to catch up because of that. And like, kids enjoy it too. And I'm excited for, like, I love having the nasturtium, beautiful piece of artwork in the front corner when you walk in is by this incredibly talented woodworker named Kimberly Nielsen, and she did this like gorgeous curved wooden thing, and it's like a great place for kids to climb. And Guy, our daughter, will be like laying on it reading when it's nice out, and it's really.
I love it. And you also put sidewalk chalk out there. Finley and I have done hopscotch a lot.
Nice. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I love that, like, at dinner time, like, I can see a family come in and they can order pancakes and bacon, and the parents can get whatever they want. And then, like, even if, like, a kid is having a hard time and they're crying or something, one of the parents can, like, pick them up, walk them over to the market, and, like, the other parent can still, like, sit and enjoy themselves, and the other parent can maybe, like, get them feeling better with, like, our old kids' toys that we put over there. And
I paid for all that Love Every stuff, so it's gonna get it's gonna get used.
But then, okay, so we talked about like the thoughtfulness of like each of these pieces, and then we mentioned the mop closet, but like that's another thing that I feel like is so thoughtful. So in your back of house, you've also just like been so thoughtful for your employees, like from an outsider. I feel like you've just so thoughtful for the people that work for you, and I feel like that shows like a lot of like gratitude, and how like you put there's an employee restroom. And then I also would love for you to talk about I love that you wrote this it's on your website, and I feel like you guys have like, I've heard you like talk about it because we've gone out to dinner before. Just like how working in restaurants, people like say like, oh, this isn't long term. Oh, this is just like a stepping stone. And I'm like there and I'm like, this is my passion. This is not a stepping stone for me. And I'm like, this is so annoying that you think that this job is lowly, where I'm like, this is the highlight of my life right now. And so I love that you guys
work during the pandemic. Everybody in the service industry.
But I would love for you to like talk about like your viewpoints on like, because it's written on your website, like the people who work for us, like this isn't just a stepping stone. Like, I don't know. Expound more on that.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, so much of what we did here is from our own experiences. And so, like, we have an employee restroom because Zoe was pregnant at Milktooth and there was not an employee restroom, and she would have to, like, stand in line for 15 minutes, 8 months pregnant, waiting for one of the restrooms to open up. And so, like, having that little place where, like, you can go and spend 5 minutes or just, like, have an uninterrupted break, or, it's just all part of what matters. We don't really like to use the rhetoric. It's super common in restaurants where they're, like, family and family meal, and it's like...
Let me roll my eyes.
And, like, we care for everyone here, and hopefully everybody cares for every member of the team. But we also know that, like, this is not their lives. And so we wanted to, like, sort of create a different sense of I'm trying to think of the word. Support or expectations, I think. Where we expect people to come in and be ready to work hard and try and give guests great experiences, but we also don't expect that this is like the focal point of their lives. And we do have some people who are in the industry because they're in school and they're going to become a therapist or something. But then we have quite a few others who are in this industry because they love it and we love it. I think providing that like sense of hospitality and like giving guests great experiences is, I don't know, if that's not why you're in the industry, then you're probably in the industry for the wrong reason. That was a point of maturation for us, was when we realized that the food is actually secondary. There are a lot of restaurants that are around and have been around for decades, not because the food is so incredible, but because you feel something when you're there. And I think that was the big thing for us, was we are pretty confident in our ability to create good food, and we think that like if we build the right teams, we'll consistently make really good food. But good food alone is not going to what's going to make us a sustainable business. It's going to be the people who love to come here and love how they feel when they're here. And so that's not just for the guests, but for our team. If the team doesn't want to be here, then they're going to give the guests a bad experience, and then that is one less potential regular. It's just all about creating a welcoming, supportive environment, not just for the guests, but for every single person, including our team members that walk into the building.
We also really overshot that though, like in the
Totally.
beginning. Like I would like to say I'm talking about the pandemic a lot. I'm okay, I promise. But like I feel like that we were just like coming off of that. We saw like how, service hospitality was like treated throughout that. And we were just like came in so hot, like ready to try to provide health insurance for everyone. And it's like now we're in it and we're like, oh, damn, like there are severe limitations on like what I am able to provide for people. And like, while we're trying to do as much as we can, it's just like small businesses don't have that support, and it's really tough. And yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to like make that really negative. I just wanted to like also be like, we tried to shoot the moon, and we fell short, but we learned from it, and we're continually changing things. Yeah. Because we don't know what we're doing at all.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Like you had, like your intentions were like, I want to change the way that small businesses operate. And then you probably found out why a lot of them do operate that way, but still like your heart is like, how do we change this? How, like we love this. And like, I think I don't know which one of you wrote it, but like, we love this industry, but we also notice all of its flaws. And like, we are aware. And to me, like, just as like a person who has like worked on a line, I appreciate that you even vocalize that. Like if you were my boss and be like, I know that this is happening. And like, you're not just like have blinders on, but this is an industry that we love, and like, how do we make it better as a whole? So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I mean, it's such a beautiful industry. Like, if you think about,
I love it.
No, if you think about like so many of the best memories in your life, like how many of them have something to do with the service industry? Whether it's like a memorable dinner because somebody was proposed to, or whatever it may be. Like there's so many memories that come with this industry.
Being a kid and getting like chocolate chip pancakes at Perkins, like that like smell, that I don't know.
It also matters like in things in just a day-to-day life that doesn't have an important event. Like a lot of people who come here early in the morning, we are the first people they're going to interact with for the whole day. And so like, are we going to be friendly with them and like set them off on a good way? Or are we going to like do the bare minimum and then sort of set them off on a way where they're not feeling great? I don't know. There's like so much responsibility and power that comes with this service industry that I don't think a lot of people realize. But we love what we do. We're still trying to cultivate everything that we can. We're really proud that like our service team everyone who works here is part of the tip pool, and like that includes the dishwasher and the kitchen and the bakers, like, and that's a huge sacrifice that our service team made, because they would be making a larger percentage in tips in just about any other restaurant. But they wanted to be a part of something that's doing it a little bit different, and then trying to like bridge that gap of wages between different teams. Yeah. I could go on and on and on about all the different things that we're trying to do differently. Some of them have been successful, some of them haven't, but we're like still.
We really thought we were gonna like do no tipping when we first opened. We were like, yeah, we're gonna really show Indiana the being no, and yeah.
I mean,
we're not ready. We're not there yet.
I mean, there are other like indie restaurants that also did like away with no tipping, and then they added tips back, but then they didn't adjust their prices. So then I'm like, I'm not only paying now for that, but now you're asking me to like tip again. And let's not talk about like tipping culture.
It's crazy, but I feel like the tip pooling is really working.
I love that, because the person that I love the most in any restaurant is the dish person.
100%. It's the backbone. Shout out Reese.
Our
dish
Reese pit is like we had of all the things we were most intentional about, making like a great dish pit was such a backbone of everything that we do, because like without clean dishes, like what there is no restaurant, there's no bakery, there's nothing.
You're the second best dishwasher here.
I would argue that.
Does the dishes.
He does dishes on Tuesdays and like the end of the day Sundays, and you're really good at cleaning our sheet trays, and I appreciate you.
Oh, I know I'm really good. My dispute was whether I'm the first best.
No, I know it was, but we're gonna let Reese is.
But hey, that's like a thing that you need to like write down and be like, I am the best sheet pan. Those things. Do your full sheet pans fit in the dishwasher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a high heat dishwasher too, which is really nice. Which was how another wonderful thing about like the water boil, we were able to, since it maintains its heat, we could still use it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and I don't know, that was a crazy time, but
I mean, you're gonna have more crazy times.
But yeah, the dish pit is huge, and we designed it that way for a reason. It's important.
You talked a little bit about the mistakes, or like the like high hopes and like how they didn't go your way. What are other things that you've learned like as business owners? I know, and you may not want to talk about this, but like I just know from like personal conversations how you're like, I just got paid, and you've been open for 2 years now. So talk about like all the hard, maybe the things that you didn't know were gonna be hard. Like you had expectations of it like being hard, but that you didn't know.
Well, I think before we like get into the hard things, we're really proud that we've made every single payroll.
Good job. Dang. Yeah. That's impressive.
Literally every single.
You didn't have to like send a message and like Slack or Sling and be like.
There was like a couple times where we knew we didn't have it at the beginning, so we weren't able to like send it through, but we were able to write checks by pay date.
Everybody's been paid.
And on time.
But hey, as someone who has been somewhere where they're like wrote me a bad check.
Oh God,
that's
my nightmare.
Good job.
I've written one bad check, and it was to one of our farmers, and I think about it often. But
it lives with you.
I mean we're like up to date with almost all of our vendors. We've paid our employees, so that like as a business that's not even 2 years old, like that's a huge success. But that is also to say that like we're making it, but just so very barely.
Well, like
every single day and every single sale matters so much.
Yeah. And like we're very privileged in that we have support, and that like my mom and his parents watch our kids, so we have that availability like on the weekends, like where you don't have to pay for childcare, and we know like they'll float us some money frequently when we're like, okay, we can't pay ourselves this week, like, and
which has been most weeks.
Most weeks, but like we also knew that it would be that way, you know, like you don't go into this business thinking you're gonna make a lot of money, so you know, like once we like pay off our credit cards, like we'll be doing all right.
I love that you
Totally.
knew that it was going to be hard and like you knew all of these things, but then you guys still decided to go and do it.
I don't think we had any idea it was going to be this hard.
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean, like I knew,
honest.
like you hear, you're not going to make money, but it's like, okay, how bad can it be? And it's like, okay, well,
Would you do it again?
I would do things differently, but I would open a restaurant again.
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
I think that one of the most challenging parts about this place is the scope of it.
Yeah,
It's just so
it's
big.
so big.
We have 30 employees. We're open for so many hours. There's so many different facets of it. And that's the hardest part of it for sure. So like we would open another thing, but
It
it
would be
would be
900
smaller.
square
Yeah,
feet.
it would be like Zoe, myself, and maybe 2 other people.
Yeah.
But it's also like my favorite part about this place is like coming to work with the people that we do work with. So it's just like logistically crazy. And I'm not a scheduler. I'm very type B. So I'm like, Josh is doing all the schedules and I'm just like, how can I help?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard though. I mean, like every
Good job, babe. Yeah.
there's just so like this morning before I had even dropped off our oldest at school, I had gotten 5 text messages by 7:20, and it's just like every single day
Yeah.
it starts with like what fire are we putting out.
Yeah.
And then you sort of go from there. And so like even tonight, like I'm down. I only work with one other cook for dinner services, and he's out sick. So like I'm scrambling to even get ready for dinner, and then worried about how service is gonna go, and yeah, it's just a never-ending
But it's like if you
flow of
can't
everything.
like expect that at this point, like it's like if
Yeah.
you meet it with
We can do it.
the attitude that like you're gonna be miserable for the next couple hours, then everybody's gonna be miserable for the next couple hours. So it's like, yeah, we're here. I don't know, putting out fires it's just part of it.
As part of it, yeah. I think Zoe and I have, like, Zoe probably has a more romantic view of what we do, where I think of us more as, like, skilled laborers or tradespeople or something. Yes, there are creative aspects and there's fun aspects of it, but it's also just a lot of really hard work.
It is very
Like, constant. I'm cleaning probably 50% of the time I'm here. And that's just
It's
like
so
the
much
reality of
cleaning.
being
If
in
you
a
like
kitchen.
cleaning, yeah, get into cooking because you'll do a lot of it.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of cooking dinner at home is the
Oh my
cleaning, so-
gosh. The thought of
For us,
cooking,
it's one of the better parts because whoever gets to clean can just put it in AirPod
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
sort of zone out and make things clean.
the thought of like cooking here every day is so much more like easy to digest than like cooking at home for your family though every night. It's like when you do it in such small, I don't know, just making dinner every night is crazy. I'm constantly like, what do I do?
So spend your money at Borage.
Exactly. There you go.
Amanda, did you want to talk about any of the food on the table that we have in front of us?
Before we talk about food,
Yes.
can you talk about what goals you have for like
Yeah.
for this place? Like what do you want to see in so you're almost 2 years in.
Yep.
What do you want to see in the next 2 years?
That's a great question.
Personally.
I want to be open in 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the number one goal is
Yeah.
like
Be open.
be open. For me, I do like most of the financial side of things, and so like we're slowly but surely getting our costs, both labor and cost of goods, to a sustainable level. We're not there for either one of them, but like we're getting better and better at them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bottom line is like for us to be around and to provide a place for the community and a good place of employment, we have to be open.
Yeah.
And so like that's my thought process is like I want to continue to see us to find better ways to operate more efficiently, making even better use of everything that we're getting in. And then if we're doing that, then that is going to ensure that like we're around for the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I mean, hopefully maybe personally like a little closer to Speedway. If we like moved our house, that would be nice. I don't like driving across town all the time, but it's also kind of nice to have the separation. But I don't know. Yeah, just keep trying to get better every day.
Okay, so we talked about how like every detail is thoughtful and like you thought about like where things go, and we didn't really get to like talk much about the food because you guys like, I feel like after listening to you, the food isn't the forefront. It's like the hospitality and the service and like how you want this industry to like run. But your food is also really good. And I've like followed you guys for like so long. And I was like looking this morning. I have a picture that I just like cannot delete of one of the like the Milktooth like menus because I lived in Florida and I would like follow you and I would be like, oh my gosh, this is like Zoe is the person, like the way that you put like ingredients together, the way that you're like you're so thoughtful in like the food, and like same to you. So like after this, I'll have to show you. You could tell me like which like menu items are yours. But like every time I go through like photos, I'm like, I don't want to delete this.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I would keep it and I'd be like, because I lived in Florida and I came to Indy and I went to Milktooth and I like fell in love with like what you guys were doing. And then I like found you guys and like followed you on your like personal accounts. And so, but every time I'm like, I would look at it and it'd be like, this is inspiration. And I don't know like how much you guys like had to do with like the coffee program at Milktooth, but at that time too, it was like really, really, it was good.
Yeah.
And so like, just like everything about it was lovely. But I would love to talk about what's on the table and if there's any like something special in memory. I know that you kind of talked about like how the pancakes, like you put it on there so that kids can have like an option. I know that we order that, but then I also want you to talk about like how you both like think of food, because the combinations or ingredients that you choose to like put together is so like, I think that is romantic.
Yes, it is. It's a good question. Okay, so we've got an all-day breakfast plate, which in addition, that's on our cafe menu and you can order at any time. And we wanted to be able to have like just the best diner plate of breakfast that anybody can eat anytime. It's because
gorgeous, literally
like working, and especially in a bakery, I like doing second shift or like, you know, people want breakfast sometimes at night and they should be able to have that. So that was kind of the thought behind that. This is our gooey gobbler, which is a delicious like you talk about the
gooey gobbler is like it's sort of like the day after Thanksgiving sandwich.
Yeah.
And so it's on like a really great sourdough oat wheat bread. We're getting our turkey from Becker Farm, so we brine that for 48 hours and then roast it and slice it. We've got our house dill pickles, a house fermented mustard, and then there's like a caramelized onion and berry jam. So you get like that sweet, savory, the acidity from the pickles. It's just like a really good turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the motivation for the cafe menu, was making things that are like fairly approachable, that someone can come back time and time again and count on having something that just feels good to them. Like even this all-day breakfast plate, we're making the bread, we're making the pork sausage, the roasty potato, which is our version of a hash brown, is a 3-day prep process. And then we're getting the eggs. We get about 12 cases of eggs from Becker Farms every single week.
They're the sweetest people.
They're so nice.
Great. Kyle and
They're
Emily are absolutely amazing. They both have like such incredible experience in the veterinary field. Like they go all throughout the state to help other farmers.
Have you ever gone to their farm?
No.
I've been one time.
I haven't.
You should go.
I want to go.
And because I know that Clarissa and Ian, they've gone there a few times and like they've had dinner. They have like a little like patio, and it's definitely like a farm.
Cool.
It's a farmhouse. I went there to do like a video, and I took Finley, and they had like little baby pigs. They also had like a dead pig, and then we had to talk about like life.
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
But yeah, you should do like you should take your team.
We should do a field trip. I was just thinking that'd be so cool.
Okay, sorry. Continue with your.
So yeah, I mean, just like a great breakfast plate. And we actually sell like a surprising amount of breakfast items at dinner, which I love. Like I come from Crawfordsville, which is a big factory town, and so like shift workers are a real thing. Like 8 a.m. is 8 p.m. to some people, and then vice versa. So like there's something for all times of day on the cafe menu, just depending on what your mood is or what your life schedule is. And so we just want to be like really welcoming of people so that they do have safe and dependable options. And then we also have a lot of really fun like doing specials, and like I change the dinner menu very frequently, and so there's something for everyone, whether it's like you want something that you can count on or whether you want to try something new that will challenge your palate.
Yeah.
That's just like, again, I feel like we've said like welcoming and and open for everyone, but like that goes for like the way you identify, the way that you're seen by others, but also like your palate. Like who are we to judge
Yeah.
someone's palate? And so we allow people to modify all over the place too. It's like
That's big.
like I don't know, some people maybe their parents just made bad food when they were growing up,
Yeah.
and so they think a Brussels sprout is disgusting. So like
That's me.
who am I to say that like
Yeah,
you have
it's
to eat a
fine.
Brussels sprout on a dish that we have it on? And so yeah, we just want people to come in and be able to eat the food that they want to eat in a good environment.
My mom would microwave Brussels sprouts and put Velveeta cheese on it, and I thought that I hated Brussels sprouts. And then I had a roasted Brussels sprout, and I was like, I
love
love
this.
Brussels
Amanda,
sprouts.
that is twisted. I'm so
That is
sorry.
like small town Indiana cooking, though. Yeah.
Were they like microwaved, just like quartered, or are they whole?
Whole.
Oh my God.
It smelled
not
like
right.
a giant. I mean, that's how my dad liked it, so that's how my mom cooked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, and that, yeah.
But I like that you're like familiarize yourself. These are the things that you know. But then also I feel like between the two of you, like you have introduced me to like ingredients.
Oh, wow.
And so
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I love that you're introducing me to ingredients, but you're introducing me to local farmers that grew those ingredients.
Yeah.
So I like that too.
Well,
I feel like I know a lot of ingredients, but every time I like look, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I our team is constantly being introduced to new things too, and like one of the cooks will ask like, "What's this?" and it's like, "Oh, that's fennel. What's fennel?"
Yeah.
And then you have to well, it's sort of like licorice or like
Mhm.
a good black good and plenty, but then it's a little bit better than that too. um,
like
yeah,
fresh tasting.
it's a lot of fun. We're getting like not right now because we're just about to go into spring, but like once spring ramps up and we're able to get like the full produce list from the farmers, is such an exciting time of like walking in the walk-in and seeing 50 different local veggies or fruits,
Yeah.
and like sort of the mind just races at the possibilities.
I know that you love cooking because not like you're in almost second year of like a business owner of a small restaurant, but like you still like love the food and like love thinking about ingredients and love like putting together stuff. And I love that you said ramping up to spring, knowing that ramps are coming.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, it's that first thing that like it's so cliche, but every chef just loves because they
It is
are
so
so
good.
incredible. But it's
Yeah.
They're
also
so
an
good.
important moment in knowing
Yeah.
that everything is about to come
Life
up.
is about to happen again. Yeah. We're waking up.
Yeah, and we'll definitely go ramping ourselves. Zoe has like a hidden valley.
She's taken me.
Oh, has
I
she?
have it marked on on Google Maps. Yeah.
Send you guys a pin.
It's
Yeah.
just
And
absolutely.
I don't think
incredible.
that spot is not going. That's a lot.
No,
So
yeah.
many
That
ramps.
one's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Harvest responsibly, but yeah, there's plenty for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leave the roots, but you really don't even have to worry about the leaves there because there's just so many.
So many.
Can you talk about the
Oh, this is
the bakery item, but also
yeah.
we don't have on the table the cinnamon roll. I feel like your
I can get one.
No,
Oh my
no,
God.
we can go and grab it later. But
Okay.
the cinnamon roll
Yeah.
has gone viral,
Went viral.
and so people come here for the cinnamon roll.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just, I mean, I just learned how to do it off of TikTok. You put heavy cream on your cinnamon rolls and they're really juicy. And
I think why it's gone viral is because like you're scooping
Yeah,
up like
there's
all the
so
goop.
much goop. And like, I don't know, our brioche, I'm really proud of our brioche. Our recipe, Francis Lamb told me that my brioche was really good and that doesn't eat dry like most brioches
That's
tend to do.
impressive,
And I
yeah.
was like, put it on my tombstone
Yeah.
because that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said. But yeah, it just
My
like, I don't know, it
brioche
just
doesn't eat dry.
just holds it
Zoe.
all in there. Yeah, it's just like, it just is, it's a good dough. So, and the cinnamon roll, people, I don't know, some people hate it. Some people are like, why is there lemon in this?
That's my
Why?
husband.
Someone did mention the lemon to me, which I
What's
thought was
going on?
interesting.
I'm like, I don't know, I like it.
I mean,
So-
I like getting your savory. Like I saw that you have like a pizza twist over there,
Yes.
and that looks really good. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna get that to go.
Should. The new vegan brioche is really good too. It's spinach artichoke. It's
Ooh.
really delicious. But
Familiar yet new.
yeah, but well, I don't know. Yeah.
And then can you talk about the donuts?
Oh yeah,
You fry them to order.
Fry them to order. This one is vegan. So one of my head bakers, Emma, she's vegan, and she's kind of, like I said, helped us shape a lot of the menu, and she has an incredible sourdough vegan brioche recipe. And so that is in like an apricot hibiscus glaze with some vegan yogurt, vanilla yogurt. But
Yum.
yeah.
We don't have to put this on there, but I like texted you one time this question. But like how when you guys opened Borage, it was like every article was like ex chefs.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm like, just
we
let
can-
them be themselves.
know.
Like, why does it have to? Why isn't it?
Fine.
Why
It's how
is it?
people like
It's part of our
associate-
story,
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
It's where we met.
Yeah,
Like
it's a huge part of it.
Yeah, Zoe was pregnant with our first child there, and like we were fired, and it was really hard for a little while. But like, at
But
this
also, we
point,
should have been fired. Like,
It's been years and years and years, and I think we're looking back more fondly now than we ever have.
Yeah.
At that time, it was like it's how we became the chefs that we are. It's how we developed quite a few of the outlooks on the industry that we have. And I wouldn't trade anything for the world for it. I look back now on that time at Milktooth, and I'm just so thankful for it. And yeah,
Oh, babe.
I loved it.
I mean, I know it was like
at
hard,
first,
and it
yeah.
was like it's probably hard because you have like so many people watching you
Yeah.
as well. Like, and it's I don't know, kind of like it just made me mad because I was like, I know that this is where you worked, but like let them be themselves
Yeah.
now. Like I hate when like a place is like so popular, but then like you're always like going to be attached to it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I never felt like pressure from it, oddly, because I feel like from doing the boxes and like having the interaction like you probably do on Instagram, which is like when you're in your bubble on Instagram, it's a very good place to be because they're very supportive of you and they're like, you're gonna do, and I was like so in that, and I was just like, I don't know, we're gonna be fine. Like everybody says it's gonna be great, so
And
it
really,
probably
like-
will be.
Like, we're fortunate to have that title because it gave us so much notoriety. And like when we were ramping up to open, like we were in every single local publication because of our time at Milk.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
like
yeah.
that's true.
like it's an important part of our story, and it
And I
gave
mean,
us a credibility and built up an excitement that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
And I understand everything you're saying, but at the same time, like you guys were the ones that were like making those menus at those times.
Yeah.
Like the reason why I fell in love with Milktooth was because of you. The reason why like I feel like Milktooth was like on the Bon Appetit podcast because of your pastries.
Mhm.
And so like Milktooth, yes.
Yeah.
But at the same and like I love Milktooth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That's nice.
Well, that's the case for any restaurant that
of it,
has
yeah.
like
Yeah.
notoriety.
And-
Yeah.
Whenever we do like Epicurean events, I love that Yusuf always gets up and he says like, this person works here, but the case is they may not work there. So follow their own personal Instagram.
Yes,
and I
it's
think
true.
that's-
Yeah, it's a huge part of it.
They are their own person and they're like contributing things to the menu. So like, and again, I appreciate that when you like have a dish that is not made by either of you, like you are shouting out the person that made
Yeah.
it because they're the ones that are also doing the work and making the
Totally.
restaurant exactly what it is.
I really want to give you a very passionate thank you for having us in your space. Your story is beautiful. You are beautiful people.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm also thankful to Amanda for
Same.
inviting us here with you.
Thank you, Amanda.
And it's just amazing. I think you guys have created. I just want to tell you, like, put it on recording. Like, I was in a really weird mood driving over here, and as soon as I walked into the cafe to get coffee and I saw Amanda, my mood entirely shifted. So I'm
Oh,
very thankful
good.
to be here. It was very nice.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
We're so excited to do
And
it.
I've been wanting to come in for a really long time, so I'm really happy to be here.
I know. I feel like we got this like big production, but I appreciate you. Like, I feel like of course you know me, but at the same time, like I appreciate you that you like sat down and like took the time. Like I know you could be like prepping on the line or something, and so that you guys took the time to like actually sit down and prepare the spread and like take so much time and talk to us and share personally too.
It's always really fun to watch Josh cry.
It's fun.
I didn't cry. I held my tears back.
Honey, no, I think it's so sweet.
Well,
you care so much, and I love it.
I love talking about it, though,
know.
because
I'm not as good at talking about myself, and not that you're good at talking about yourself, but like your passion and your love for Borage. It's just really you're really good.
I feel like so much of the time here, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah,
I'm like the enforcer. I'm the dad that you don't ask the questions to in your family, you know? And so like people will go to Zoe and then I'm the one that has to like come over and say no or something.
Yeah.
And then I do like the books and the scheduling, and there's like so much tedious work here.
I do
like,
work here, by the way.
Yes, Zoe does so much stuff as well.
I know you're not.
But I just like to be able to talk about it and like look back and actually think about it in terms of like a bigger
You're reflecting.
picture. Yeah. It sort of helps us appreciate what we have and
so
what we're
thank
doing.
you.
Oh.
It's really nice to be able to like feel good about it and not just like stress spiral.
I just want to say thank you guys for having us again. It was really nice of you to allow us into your space. I really want to thank Chris Whonsetler for doing the production for us. He does a podcast called Okayest Cook. It's a wonderful podcast about being a better chef yourself. So he's been very gracious to provide us his equipment. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Let's eat.
We had a wonderful time. We're going to eat this beautiful food.
Yay.
Thank you for your time.